show tonight. I'm Perry Thaler. I'm an officer, pun intended. I got a few announcements, and then I'll intro our first comedian. Before we start, please take a minute to turn off your phones right now. We will not be tolerating any ringtones, etc. In the same vein, we ask that you do not talk through the remainder of the show. It is incredibly distracting, even just whispering to your friends, so please refrain from doing that. Also, Cornell is currently in yellow COVID alert, which means jack shit. It means nothing. But we must be having, all of our audience members have to wear masks because we have non-Cornell students here. So we kindly ask /require/ I will fucking fuck you up. You do not wear your mask properly throughout the entire show. If something happens, we have extra masks outside. You guys all saw them, so feel free to go take it if you need. Alright, so to introduce our first comedian, I have asked my mom to write an intro for him from my perspective. For context, my mom is a 61-year-old white woman who has met him several times. She believes we will get married. We will not. Word for word. I'm reading word for word. This is what she sent me. Our first comedian tonight is a good friend of mine, Skyler Holzman. We are such good friends that I helped him start pun intended as a way to showcase his jokes, which may or may not be funny. You guys can judge for yourselves and potentially beat me up outside later. Skyler is currently a senior here at Cornell, where he spends most of his time watching porn, playing beer pong, binge watching 16 and Pregnant, and quilting. Oh, and fantasizing about a career in stand-up. He rarely can also be found podcasting or hosting Big Red Banter on WBBR. I thought there'd be cheers. WBBR people here. He is, however, never found attending classes. It is no coincidence that his initials are SMH, shake my head. He is a one-man conundrum. Please join me in welcoming the hopefully hilarious Skyler Holzman.
Keep it going for Perry, guys. Keep it going. All of that is true. I hope you know. That is completely true. I'm friends with your 61-year-old mom. That's great. That's the first time hearing of that. Interesting. Well, welcome to our show. How you guys doing? This is our show, Comedy Unmasked, which is probably the worst timed show name ever. For the college people, like Perry said. We are having a COVID spike on campus right now, but no one has to worry. Everyone here is safe. And you can tell that everyone here is safe because it's a Saturday night and everyone here is here. So tonight we are all engineers. Okay? This is great. This is, God, what a weird room. Look at what we did. Look at this. Just look at this shit. We did all of this. We wrote "Please Laugh" on this board. It's a little sad. But yeah, you guys excited to hear dick jokes in front of a whiteboard? Yeah. This is cool. It's a cool lecture hall. They actually teach a finance class in this room. You can tell none of us have ever taken that class because the show is free. We're broke. This room costs $300 to rent. This room costs $300 to rent. Our club paid Cornell University $300, so I can stand up here and tell you that people have told me that I look kind of like the cinnamon stick from the Apple Jacks commercials. He's like, "Oh, rhythm on!" Fucking whatever he says. But I'm currently a senior right now. I stopped drinking for a while in college, but I'm fine because I'm drinking again. So I'm doing great. It's weird though when you stop drinking in college. It's a little weird. You start to question a lot of the things that you see in college. Like I had this friend freshman year. Right? This kid's name was Nate. Okay, and Nate's specialty was that when we would walk back from parties drunk, Nate would whip out his dick and start peeing while he was walking.
Like this. I'm not like this, 90 degrees. Like parallel to the ground. Okay?
When you're drunk in college and you see that, you're like, this makes sense. When you're sober in college and you see that, you're like, Nate, can you please not pee on me? Thank you. Also, grinding. Another thing. You guys know grinding? In college, when grinding is, it's kind of like, you're like at a party, you're like, oh, you're attractive, turn around, and like, like, that's how it's done. When you're drunk at a party, you see grinding, you're like, this is dancing. This is what dancing is. When you're sober at a party and you see grind, you're like, Nick, can you get the fuck off me? Jesus Christ. I'm a senior, I was born in 2000. Oh, you were also born in years? That's cool. Good for you guys. I've had a lot of people I've told people that, and I've had a lot of people tell me, oh wow, 2000, that's a really cool year to be born. Nope, that's not true. A year just can't be cool, except for the year 0. That shit is a dope year. And I will tell you why, because in the year 0, everyone was like, I feel like we've been counting backwards. You guys feel like we should count forwards? Let's kill Jesus. And there's a reason the cross is a plus sign. I'm just saying. Oh my god. So I was born in 2000, grew up with a lot of cool stuff. I like watching like old movies and TV shows. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Muppet Show. You guys know the Muppet Show? Wow, very muted for the Muppet Show. We do not have an audience here. That's a weird demographic. Well, anyway, the Muppet Show. First of all, Kermit the Frog. You all know Kermit the Frog? Yeah, Kermit the Frog. What a frog. What a fucking frog. What a great frog, right? Kermit the Frog. He's a frog. Okay, I've said that enough. Kermit the Frog is in the Muppet Show. I don't know if you guys know this. The Muppet Show came out in 1976, okay? And that's when Kermit started saying stuff like, it's not easy being green. Right? He said stuff like that. We were all like, oh, wow, that's a cool catchphrase, but like, is he good? Like, does he need to talk to somebody? And then 5 years later, the game Frogger came out, where Frogger is a jaywalking frog on a rush hour highway. Look, I'm not saying there's any obvious connection between a vaguely depressed frog and a clearly suicidal frog. I'm not. I'm just saying, why the fuck are they both frogs then? You know, we're talking about 2 of the most famous, iconic frogs of all time, and both of them clearly just want it all to be over. Okay? One of the first memes I ever remember being sent was of Kermit falling out of a 4-story window. Some of you may be familiar with that meme. We have normal friends sending that shit. And look, some say he was thrown, but I'm just saying, like, there's a reason frogs are known for jumping. We've never heard of Kermicide? It's very niche. I grew up in this kind of small town in Westchester, and we're all uncomfortable now. Everyone has been a victim of Westchester here, grouping everyone in. Okay, I grew up in this small town, and the craziest thing that happened to me in Westchester was I knew a kid when I was growing up who tried to join ISIS. Totally true. Totally true. And he didn't make it, because you know how selective they are. Affirmative action, whatnot. And, this kid tried to... I was talking to someone who I had recently met about this kid trying to join ISIS, because that is how I choose to make small talk with people. And I was talking to her, and I was like, I knew a kid back from my hometown, during high school, he tried to join ISIS. And she was like, oh, no way. I knew a kid in high school who tried to join ISIS. I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. This kid went to LaGuardia High School. And she was like, that's insane. I went to LaGuardia High School. And I was like, that is crazy. The kid I knew, his name was Bucky. And she was like, that's unbelievable. The kid I knew, his name was Bucky. And in my head, I'm like, holy shit, there's 2. And unfortunately, there wasn't. But I will say, the best part about this kid trying to join ISIS, and there is a best part, is that this kid was 5'4". I've told a lot of people this story, and I get a pretty common reaction, which is, maybe he did it because he was insecure about his height. Maybe he has short people syndrome. No, I don't think so. I think he just really wanted to be a terrorist. It's cool. You do you, man. Follow your dreams. Okay? To whatever extent. But I am currently single right now. I am single, and I did have a 6-month relationship last year. My ex-girlfriend was a communist. Epic college? You said nice. You're not safe at Cornell, but Epic college, that's your home base. Okay, that's where you want to be. I didn't know much about communism when I first met her. I was very intimidated when I first met her because she immediately told me that she was an abolitionist communist. which meant that she wanted to tear down the entire government and start from scratch. That's what she said. Is that how communist introductions work? I'm just curious, like, do you just state your name and ideology? So she said that, I was like, great, my name's Skyler, I'm a Reformed Jew, which means my bar mitzvah was for profit. Interesting. Before I started dating this girl, she had a conversation with me. She was like, if we start dating, can we be exclusive? And I was like, I thought you hated private property. I just don't, I'm confused. But it's a learning curve, dating a communist, learning curve, okay? Like, the gift-giving stuff, you know how, like, non-communist couples will, like, we'll let that sit there for a second. You know, non-communist couples will get each other, like, stupid, cute gifts, like a teddy bear, like a dumb engraved mug, you know? For our 1-month anniversary, I got her a painting of Chase Bank on fire. This was a 6-month relationship. You know why they're only 6 months? Because I ran out of cute ways to defeat capitalism. And also, she fucking hated Billy Joel, which, that is a red flag for me. That shouldn't be a hot take. I don't know why you did that. Okay. I don't know. But I don't know what she's gonna do with those other 5 copies of Animal Farm. I'm really not sure. I don't know. The worst gift I got her was I got her a Bernie Sanders t-shirt from Amazon. Which you can't do that, I don't think, with the communists. I don't think that's cool. And I didn't even tell her it was from Amazon. I just gave it to her on like a Friday, and she was like, oh, thank you so much, I love it. And I was like, yeah, I just ordered it on Wednesday. She was like, how the fuck did it ship so quickly? Aggressive. But the communism stuff, I mean, it extended, like, it was everywhere. Sexual stuff, I mean, she used to call her period the Red Scare. Straight up. If that's not enough, when she used to give me handjobs, she used to jerk me off, she used to grab my dick and be like, I'm seizing the means of production! That's true. That's true. Well, not really, but I don't really care. Anyway, guys, that has been my time for the night. Thank you, guys. Excited. I want you to be loud. Give her a huge round of applause. Please welcome to the stage, Flavia Scott.
All right. So it was a little difficult for me to come up with stuff to do tonight because I've been pretty mentally healthy lately. It's been like a long road though. Like a couple years ago, I low-key ghosted my old therapist. And like, I'm not proud about it, but like, how do you tell your therapist that it's not working out? You sit her down and be like, it's not you, it's my demons. But yeah, so you know what? I've been in therapy for about a year. So when she told me to schedule our next appointment, I was like, oh yeah, sure, you know, and then I left. Never saw her again. But anyways, I've got a little better at communicating thanks to the new therapist. And it hasn't taken any of the awkwardness out of it though. Like, I'm pre-med, so over the summer I was emailing to get into a lab, and after a while it started to feel pretty disingenuous because you're basically just sending the same email over and over again, but with increasing levels of desperation. So I started to feel a bit like a lab F-boy, you know? Just like hitting up all these labs being like, oh come on baby, you know you want this girl in your lab. But anyways, this semester I'm in organic chemistry lab, and for those of you who aren't pre-med, which I was gonna say isn't a lot of you, but hearing that, it's basically this 3-hour period where they give you some chemicals and some instructions, and you just kind of go at it. Like, think I'm so sorry. Think Breaking Bad meets IKEA. So a couple weeks ago, another thing about organic chemistry lab is that you see all of these people in your other classes. So like you can fail, but there's a limit to how much you can fail, just like pride-wise. So people think being pre-med, the hardest thing that you have to do is the MCAT, but really it's just not showing fear. So a couple of weeks ago, we were doing this experiment where there were like two hoses, and water was coming in through one and out through the other. Seems pretty simple. Somehow mine became disconnected. So my lab bench is like slowly filling up with water, which is like fun enough on its own. But then because of the pressure, it starts spinning. Like it's got something to prove. So like people are like walking by, all this is going on behind me, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And internally I am weeping, but outside I'm like, "F this." Yeah, but speaking of catastrophic events, have any of you read the New York Times? More specifically the comment section, because I genuinely find them more funny than the articles. Like, I saw this review for a restaurant, and somebody commented that it looks interesting, but like a little out there, and somebody replied, "Go back to the Cheesecake Factory." Yeah, so that doesn't even have anything on the New York Times cooking app. Like, there are two kinds of commenters on there. There's the people who said whether they liked the recipe or whether they added more butter. And then there's the, if it were real arroz con pollo, you'd kill the chicken with your hands. Like, there are people writing whole new recipes in the comments. Like, I one time saw this comment where there was like 20 revisions, and at that point, it is just a different dish. Like, they ship of Theseus the hell out of the simplest things. Like, it asks for milk. Well, if you don't get goat's milk straight from the teat, you might as well just feed it to your dog, because at the end of the day, you're both just making dog shit. Saw this recipe for a mug cake, which, like, if you don't know, is basically like 5 ingredients you put into a mug, store the fork when you're sad. This one guy, he commented, well, it's no French pâtissière. And it's like, oui, monsieur, you made it in the microwave. Anyways, that is all I have for you. Thank you.
Keep it going, keep it going. Alright, let's keep this show going. Very excited to bring this next guy out. It's his first show with this club. He's gonna fucking crush it. I'm very excited. Please welcome to the stage, Jack Magee.
Thank you. I didn't tell any jokes yet. Thank you all for wearing masks, by the way. I know the title is a little inaccurate at this point, but appreciate it. I'm not gonna wear one though because I'm cool. Real quick, I have to address this. Are you going to Maven later? Can you stand up so we can see more about? It's not the funniest joke I'd tell. Yeah, anyway. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jack Magee. It's kind of a weird name because Jack is this weird generic name you hear all the time put in front of like insults like jackass or jack off. It's kind of hard to grow up with. And then Magee is this goofy Irish last name that they put after body parts. Like I hear, there goes Legs Magee on the soccer field. Or there goes No Legs Magee in a wheelchair. They didn't say it to me, obviously. My favorite though is Tits Magee. I don't have a very particular personal connection to the name. I just think it's the funniest one I've ever heard. But recently it's been keeping me up a bit because, you know, one day I'm gonna get older, I'm gonna have a family, maybe have a daughter, and I think bullies might call her Tits Magee. And that's terrible, I can barely take it. So I started thinking, like, how could I help her out? And I had a great idea. I'm just gonna name her Tits. Then she won't get bullied. Anyway, as you can tell by my appearance here tonight, I have a lot of spare time. I get bored rather often. I try to get creative, you know, to get some entertainment. I try to get artistic. It's a good time. You know, you're in college, explore what you can do. Turns out there's not a lot for me to explore, not particularly artistic. Most of my artwork is limited to like chalk-based mediums. You know, you might see them on the sidewalk. Like, it's outlines of bodies I mostly do. Do a lot of volunteering at the police station. It's not as dull as it may seem. I get rather, you know, quirky with it. I like to maybe like move the body, make it look like they died sitting crisscross applesauce. Or if someone dies on a basketball court, like a Jordan logo. But the best one to do is if someone dies in like a crosswalk, you make them look like the Walkman. Because that then draws other people in, like, oh, I think it's my time to go. They get hit, I get more work. I like that one. Quick note though, I did mention the police. I do think we should defund the police. It's okay. I would like to say though, we should not defund the SWAT team. For a very particular reason. I don't want to be in a bank robbery one day, and instead of the SWAT team coming in, they send some sociology major with sock puppets. As if that's going to diffuse the situation. Also, it's so annoying. I'd rather be a hostage at that point. Speaking of being a hostage, I tried to get outside a little bit, went ziplining. Just basically being a hostage. Very boring. I quickly learned that the only people excited to go ziplining are the people you paid to take you ziplining. Because you're just standing like a dork with neon headgear on, and they're going on and on about these ropes, and you're just not paying attention. But anyway, I get up there, I'm going. The first one's very easy, everybody could do that. Second one, a little faster, a little harder. The third one's actually kind of difficult. And I got down like halfway, not really paying attention. I hear them start yelling, "Brake, brake, or you gotta slow down." I was like, oh, okay. And I put my hand up into the axle, which you're supposed to do. But I put it in front, which you're not supposed to do. It made this terrible sound like, and I didn't slow down whatsoever. I crashed right into the guide person, knocked them off the platform. They died. Everybody's freaking out, not me though. I'm completely calm, because I had some chalk on me. I was just kind of excited. I don't always just kill people for fun though. Sometimes I just go on the internet like you guys might. I go on Yik Yak a lot. There's some IC people here, probably more attuned to that. I go on Yik Yak, it's like, I'm gay. And I go on Side Chat to see what Cornell's up to, and they're like, Kai-Sai's gay. My favorite, though, is to go on Facebook, which is a little old nowadays. I know what you're thinking, why would you do that? But there's plenty of old people that will overshare their lives in very weird ways. For instance, they're huge on gender reveals. How many IC people are there here? No, I don't like gender reveals either. I get it. They're boring. I don't like them because they're boring. But I had a really good idea to make them better. Okay, I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine, a pregnant woman, or anyone at this point, it's 2022, is tossing like a ball of dust to someone with a wiffle ball bat, and they swing through clean in front of their friends and family, but not a blue cloud or a pink cloud, a black cloud fills the air, because they're going to board it. That is entertainment. I think ESPN might start covering that. I think DraftKings might start doing lines like, what's the over-under on like boy, girl, boy? Anyway, speaking of abortions, sorry, I went right back to death. I lied to you. You guys listen to music during sex?
Yeah.
That guy laughed way too hard. Sir, do you have sex? Anyway, for the cool people here, I'll tell you why I don't listen to music during sex. This is an old story, but I have been kindly invited to go over and see a girl. Hi, Mom. She's watching the live stream. Just saw her. And I got there, and she was like, do you want me to put some music on before we see each other? And I was like, well, I've never really done that before, but I was pretty grateful to be there, so I might as well do what she says. And she puts on a song that I immediately recognized to be Pyramids by Frank Ocean. If you're not familiar, that's a 9-minute song. It's a pretty high first bar. Nah, just kidding. I'm pretty good at sex. I've actually been told that sex with me is like a marathon in Boston. Might cost you a leg or two. And you will not see the finish coming. Alright, I'll stop killing people, alright? Considering that you all go to a very good school or a college, I imagine that you did not enjoy high school very much. I did not enjoy it very much either. That being said, no matter how much I hate high school, I still can't really seem to quit all my high school habits. Like, I still get up every morning and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I cannot quit it. I do not. But high school is especially tough for me because it's usually a period of time where, like, you're coming out of your awkward middle school stage. You're kind of becoming the person you're going to be for the rest of your life. People are, like, their arms are now the same length. They're getting their braces taken off. But I got my braces put on in 9th grade. Not the cool kid on campus. And I just thought that was terrible because I show up on the first day of school with metal in my mouth. And Stacy Johnson has, like, new boots. And in the hallway, I still get called Tits Magee. Anyway, do you guys have any, like, cool superlatives in high school? You guys remember that? Yeah. I'm sure many of you were likely to be president, or most athletic, or, like, you had a nice face or something. Not me. I was given most likely to travel the world. I think they're trying to get me lost. I don't know. But I haven't even been to Canada. The only other country I've been to, this is true, I've been to Guatemala. I went on a service trip, because I was extremely passionate about having a good college essay. Had to go find some strife to write about. I went down there actually because, like, my longtime crush, my high school crush, was also going, and I didn't have the courage to tell her I liked her in the United States. It's picked an easier venue. And so finally at the end of the trip, I bring myself to tell her how much I like her. Like, literally, it's like picturesque setting. There's, like, volcanoes erupting in the background. And I go, I really, really like you. And she goes, oh my God, I can't believe you're telling me this because I'm a lesbian. And I went, wow, that's so sweet of you to lie to me. Thank you. Anyway, so that was 4 years ago. It was kind of crazy. I was a senior in high school, I'm a senior in college now. Don't talk about that. I'm very sad about it. But I was thinking, especially after St. Patrick's Day, that, like, most holidays are better when you're a kid. And they continue to just get worse. Like, when I was a kid, you Halloween trick-or-treating, like, that's the best. You just go around every neighborhood just giving you candy. But, like, now, when you go to, like, a frat party, the candy they give you, I don't even remember what it tastes like. Like, I just wake up, my butt hurts, I don't remember the But then it hit me. Some adults do like Halloween, like a lot. I don't know, you might call these kinds of people, I call them pedophiles. I call them something else. That's the one day of the year they get to work from home. Anyway, random thought I had recently was that Trojan Condoms is a very popular condom brand. They have a very strange name because the Trojans are most well known for letting things get behind their walls they weren't supposed to. That being said, I do use them. So far, only 3 pregnancies. All 3 of them, black clouds. I'd like to always take a poll. How many of you here consider yourselves a feminist? Whoa! Shockingly. Now, raise your hands if you watch the WNBA. See how those are not the same? You guys gotta work on that. You should care about Brittany Griner putting up 30 points as much as you care about Britney Spears. Actually, she should be freed too. She's in Russia right now. We gotta free Brittany Griner. Not a good time to get arrested in Russia. A lot else going on. No one really cares. Exactly. I don't know if you put this together already, but I don't go to the gym. I wear this big sweatshirt to hide myself. But it's not like I didn't like it or wasn't enjoying it. I was actually decently committed to it, but I had to stop going because people kept staring at me. It was like really concerning because they were like very attractive women, and you're thinking, what's the problem with that? Well, the problem is I realized what they were thinking is, how do we get that skinny? Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks, guys. You've been great.
Trask!
Hey, Skyler, has anyone ever told you you look like Little Dicky? So the other day, I'm driving around and I see this homeless guy that I always see, and he's standing in the rain with this sign that read, "Need $20." It's pouring rain out and this guy's just standing there, soaking, asking for specifically $20. And that's when it hit me. This bum is a fucking con man! You see, the other day, I drove by this same bum, and out of the kindness of my heart, I gave him 5 of my hard-earned dollars. And this prick has still not updated his sign to read, "Need $15. He took me for a fucking chump, and I fell for it. He should change his sign from "Need $20 to "Want $20. Because I want $20 too, and that's not a lie. I want kids too. I can't wait to be a dad. Can't wait to have kids. Just kidding, I hate kids. But I'm still sort of excited to have kids. Like, I can't wait to be a dad and I'm walking in the park with my kid. And I see some trash can that looks like Among Us, and I'm like, sus. And then my kid, they look up at me and they say, "What does that mean? That's too many syllables." Oh, fucking smartass. I fucking hate kids. Like, what if you had a blind kid, and bless their heart, no matter how hard they try, they cannot grasp the idea of impressions. Like, you go up to your blind kid and you're like, "Hey buddy, I brought someone special to meet you," and they're like, "Really? Who is it? I can't wait to see." And you're like, "All right, count to 10, close your eyes." You need to close your eyes. But guess who it is? It's Owen Wilson. Wow, hi there, blind kid. Wow. Oh my God, Owen Wilson. And that's not all. I also brought the one and only Robin Williams. Oh, hey there, blind kid. Oh. They don't know Robin Williams is dead. They're blind. My kid is gonna hate me when they're a teenager. I can't wait for that fucking smartass to try and stand up to me and say, "Fuck you, Dad!" What did you say? Say it again. Say it again. Nothing, Dad. I didn't think so. That's the exact reason I shouldn't have kids. Like, I hate kids. But I like kids. Like, I wish there was a place I could just go to and just look at kids. But I'm infertile, so I have nothing to worry about. But the other day, my girlfriend said, "You know, I wish jizz tasted like whipped cream." And I turn to her and I look her right in the eyes and I say, "Baby, baby, baby, I have never heard an idea so shockingly bad If cum tasted like whipped cream, everybody would just be eating their own cum. Like your sweetheart asks you, what's for dessert tonight? And you just whip out the hog. Or you're like, give me 1 sec, and go rub one out into a cookie. And you come back into the kitchen, and you're holding the ookie cookie. And you're like, look, I know it's not much, babe, but I thought that we could share it. I hate when couples share food. I hate when couples do anything in public. I hate public displays of affection. I don't like seeing it, I don't like doing it. Don't touch your friends, don't hug your friends. Well, you can hug your friends, just don't do it in front of me and don't touch me after. It's not that I don't like seeing people happy and in love. I just don't like seeing all the touching and the kissing and the laying and the grabbing. It's gross! Don't subject me to that while I'm walking around. Do that in private. I don't care who you are. I don't want to see any public displays of affection. I don't care if it's a girl and a guy, or a guy and a guy, or a girl and a girl. You know what? I changed my mind. I wouldn't mind seeing a little chick-on-chick PDA. Call me a feminist. But I've always liked the idea of chick-on-chick. I've always wanted to have a threesome, but I'm either too drunk to get it up or too drunk to wake up. So I guess that's not happening. I don't have a drinking problem. I don't abuse alcohol. Alcohol abuses me! It's not my fault I wake up every morning hungover. It's alcohol's fault. Alcohol abuses me under the influence. Like, I wake up after a night of heavy drinking with my soft dick in my hand and my pants around my ankles. Who put my dick in my hand? I think it's crazy that I have a girlfriend. And I also think it's crazy that I have 2 dads. Because the 2 people I hate the most are the gays and women. I'm scared to go out and cheat on my girlfriend nowadays because of all these STD mandates. I'm scared that if I sleep around, I'm going to catch one of these STD variants. But maybe, if the whole world didn't go outside and have sex with a stranger for 2 weeks, wouldn't STDs just go away?
Alright guys, I'm very excited to bring this next comic up. He's been doing all of our shows, absolute stud, one of my really good friends. He's just like, stop talking about me. So I'll just bring him up. Please put your hands together, get loud for Matt Hein!
Yeah, go Matt!
Alright, I guess not. Doesn't Cam kind of look like the employee of the month at Zoomies? He probably sold me the shirt. But. Anyway, yeah, good to be here. I'm thinking a lot about like why I ever started doing comedy, like why I try to be funny. I think it's because, I grew up privileged, but I was always a little less privileged than my friends, right? So my house was a little smaller, I was very insecure about that, and never really invited people over. So kind of being funny was my ticket into being friends with people. And, for a while I was really ashamed of how insecure I felt about my house, because like my parents worked so hard for it, right? Like who was I to judge? But thinking back on it now, honestly, I think it's a pretty solid insecurity to have. Because like I would never kidnap someone, but if I did have the urge to, I would just be too insecure about them seeing the size of my house. Like I ripped the duct tape off the guy, he's like, you share a room with your brother? I'd be so insecure, I'd just call him an Uber home. Speaking of insecurities, found out recently I might be depressed, which is awesome. Yeah, it's kind of a weird way I figured it out. Basically, I was listening to a Bob Dylan song, and I didn't hate it. I was doing the math in my head, like no healthy 21-year-old should enjoy a song with a harmonica. I guess like the biggest cause of my depression is that I'm gonna die alone. That scares me a lot. Yeah, because like I've never really been in love, never had a girlfriend. Closest I ever had to a girlfriend, I was like 6 years old. I had this neighbor, right? We had that classic like childhood love, but it didn't end well because one day her dad ran over my dog. Yeah, I was like, you could have just told me you wanted to break up. Like,
have to order a hit on coca. You know, I talk to my therapist a lot about my fear of dying alone, and she always tells me to remember, you know, like, people in the world have it worse. And it got me thinking, like, who in the world is more likely to die alone than I am? And this sounds really fucked up what I'm about to say, but my answer would probably be, like, burn victims, right? Like, it gets tense, yeah. Dating must be tough for them. Think about it. But no, I'm not a piece of shit. I actually want to do something to help them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm inventing a dating app for burn victims. I'm calling it Tinder. I try not to feel bad for myself too much, but I think it is okay too in small amounts. Like, you guys all know mono, like the kissing disease? Yeah, you're probably familiar with it, but yeah, I got mono before I ever had my first kiss. So when I went to the doctor, it was really weird, because at first he was like kind of excited for me, you know? He was like, oh, like, mono, kissing disease, what's her name? And I was like, a Poland Spring water bottle. Yeah, I know I'm kind of making fun of mental health. I do take it really seriously, though. I think, you know, if you have problems, like, definitely seek help. I will say this, though. We need to distinguish between mental health problems and kind of fake problems we make up as a society. Because, like, my friend came up to me recently, and he was like, hey, Matt, I have trust issues. He kind of confessed this. He was like, I have difficulty trusting people I don't know very well. And I was like, I think that's just how trust works. Just because you don't want to lend a stranger $50, it doesn't mean you need to go to therapy. The same friend was also like, yeah, I'm also an overthinker. He's like, I have difficulty living in the moment. I'm always thinking ahead. And again, I was like, I think that's just how thinking works. Like, if anyone's internal dialogue is like, I'm currently eating cereal, and that concludes my thoughts, they're so Yeah, I'm not on any sort of like antidepressants, but I am on antibiotics, which is a lot less interesting. I was at CVS the other day to renew my prescription, and the pharmacist asked me to show photo ID, which I found very interesting, because I don't know who's faking their identity to steal antibiotics. Now, they've never been a drug addict that's like, screw Xanax, give me a pill that makes me prone to indigestion and sunburn. Yeah, I went to my annual checkup recently, and I'm 21 years old. My doctor told me this year I have scoliosis. I don't know how you missed that for 21 years. It's weird though, because now he wants me to wear a back brace in public. And I told him straight up, like, if I have to wear a fucking back brace in public, people are gonna think I'm cosplaying as a medieval knight. And he was like, oh no, like, it'll be a great conversation starter. And I was like, yeah, a conversation between two other people who see me, and goes, what the fuck's going on with Lansing? Yeah, big thanks to Ithaca College Comics for helping us out tonight. Really appreciate them. You don't have to clap, it's fun. No, yeah, they have like an open mic every Thursday, which is super cool. I go there with some other Cornell guys, and I've had some good jokes, I've had some bad jokes. I had my worst joke telling experience ever there that I would now like to share with you. So I had a joke a while back, and I'll be the first to admit it was not a funny joke. It was like a two-liner. Basically, I say I'm sexually confused. I'm confused how to get women to want to have sex with me. Again, not a great joke. I'm the first to admit that. So I tell it at Ithaca College, right? I said the first line. I'm sexually confused. Before I can say the second line that like clarifies I'm joking, everyone gets up and starts applauding for me. They thought I was like coming out as bisexual, right? I was like, I support the sentiment, it just didn't apply to me. And then I said the second line, I'm confused how to get women to want to have sex with me. I just look like the biggest douchebag ever. And that's not even the worst part. I went home that night, you know, I'm pissed, I'm scrolling through Instagram. Apparently the day I told that joke, I swear this is true, it was Bisexual Awareness Day. I'm an ally though, I am an ally. You guys all know Skyler, right? He comes to IC with me sometimes for the open mic. He has a lot of 9/11 jokes. I don't know how familiar you are with that. But he tells a lot of 9/11 jokes. So much so that at Ithaca College they actually refer to him as the 9/11 guy. They do, yeah. And honestly, I'm a little jealous of this because I don't have my own title. Like, they don't call me anything. And so I figured I actually want to compete for that title by telling my own 9/11 joke. So I'm already regretting this right now. So I'm going to start by saying 9/11 was a very tragic day. People lost their lives, 100%. But I do wonder how many lives that day saved. And what I mean by that is, I imagine there was like, you know, in New York City there was like a drug addict, and he was like overdosing, just, you know, looking around New York City, and he looks up, he sees a plane hit a building and thinks, fuck, I think I took too much. And he went on to rehab, he got his life together, and went on to be a very successful terrorist. Alright, I'm gonna end it on this one. So, you know, I go to Cornell, you probably assume I'm smart. I'm not. I got really bad grades last semester, which is embarrassing because I cheated like a lot, right? I remember in this one class we had a pop quiz, and it was a very simple objective. We just had to rip out a piece of paper, write down our names, and then the name of a historical figure the previous night's reading was about. I didn't do the reading though, so I just cheated off this girl sitting next to me, wrote down what she had. And then, you know, after class, I'm talking to friends, they all had one name. I had a very different answer. And then I realized when I was copying off that girl, I wrote down her name. So I was supposed to have written down Frederick Douglass, who was a leading abolitionist and a member of the women's suffrage movement. But But I wrote down Stephanie Johnson. She's a 19-year-old marketing major and member of the field hockey team. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Keep it going. One more from Matt, guys. One more from Matt. Anyone at Lincoln College actually confirm that I am known as the 9/11 guy there?
Yes.
It's true. And I will own it. I will own that. All right. So, next Ithaca College comic coming up. Very excited to introduce her. Please give a big round of applause for Steph Hawkins.
The wait time to reschedule my therapy appointment was taking too long, so I just decided to get bangs instead. When I have them. But yeah, I've been needing to go to therapy lately because I worked at Starbucks. I say worked, not work, because I got fired. It's a shame, really. I really liked my job. My favorite part often was connecting with people, and that often happened when I was, giving people their drink orders. And I remember one day, I was getting really creative, and this one guy with a cowboy hat came in. Like a really, really tall cowboy hat. So I said, I got a latte for Doug Dimmadome. One person came in wearing Cookie Monster pajama pants, Osiris sneakers, and a lifeguard hoodie. And I said, I got a latte for the girl who walked the mile in gym class. And instead of asking for an extra shot of espresso, she just asked for a shot of Monster. She was awesome. But I remember one day I was so these people were coming up like I was calling them by their government name. They were surprisingly self-aware. So naturally, I started getting cocky. One day we had this one person come in and they changed their drink order. Not once, not twice, but 8 times. At this point, the angel on my shoulder was starting to side with the devil too. So now, when I handed out the drink order, I said, I got a latte for commitment issues. The problem wasn't implying that someone had commitment issues. The problem was half the store standing up and trying to claim this drink, including my boss. So yeah, I got fired right then and there. My boss's commitment issues are so bad they couldn't even commit to me. Yeah, none of that happened. I feel like it's not lying that's under the guise of comedy. It was a bit, Your Honor. But I'm actually kind of nervous if Starbucks were to find out that I was writing stand-up about them. Because as of late, many of the Starbucks locations, especially the ones, pushing for the union like my store, we've been under... Thank you. I started working there way too soon, so I'm actually have no impact in this union. But thank you for clapping. But as of late, we've been having what I like to call union busters come in the store. Basically, just higher ups at Starbucks that get put on paid business trips to look for any and all violations in the store. And you know how there was those kids in high school that would call the cops on high school parties. Yeah, union busters are just like them after graduation. But I remember one day, this union buster named Marcus, actually forget I said that. This union buster guy came in and he found out that I was really into comedy. So he said that he could get me connected to Lil Nas X. So sorry to everyone trying to vote yes for the union, but I think I'm gonna have to go no on this one. Which we'll call it. No, but full disclosure, I am voting yes for the union, and I've decided that the day the union passes is the day that I stop pooping on company time. But yeah, we have more people coming to Starbucks than just union busters. We got, as I said, Doug Dimmadome, the girl that walked the mile in gym class, middle-aged white women who treat baristas like therapists. Yeah, there's this one woman who comes in, she never orders anything. She just tells me about her sex life. She's 53, and I love her. She's my favorite customer. It kind of just reminds me of Sex in the City, but in my case, it's like Sex in the Starbucks. She's Carrie Bradshaw, and her Mr. Big is Pizza Shop Guy 1. Which would call, she'd be telling me some story, as if it was from her, what is it, her newspaper column? That's what Carrie Bradshaw has, right? She'd be talk about her newspaper column, being yeah, the day I met Pizza Shop Guy number 1, I eyed him across that pizza shop, and I couldn't help but wonder, what if he ate a slice of me? But But yeah, it was just kind of crazy. Like the day I met her, she just came in one day, and as I was asking her what she wanted to drink, she just cut me off. I didn't even get to finish my sentence. And she goes, yeah, by the way, my ex-husband who cheated on me the same year that my dad died of a stroke, who isn't actually my dad because he cheated on my mom, died from a stroke. The day after, I got illegally evicted because my landlord tried to make illegal sex moves on me. And I was like, oh man, this is hard. But I've had a lot weirder customer interactions. I used to work at Wendy's, so I guess you could say I'm a war veteran. But I'm a screenwriting major, so I thought, what better way to get a good look at my future than landing a dead-end job at Wendy's? But anyway, yeah, I worked at Wendy's, and I remember it was one night, at like midnight, this one guy came to the drive-thru and suggested that he wanted to eat a Frosty Cookie sundae off with me. Now, if I wanted to get paid for kinky shit, I would have just made an OnlyFans. But sir, this is Wendy's. And like, it was kind of funny too, because this was all through the drive-thru. We couldn't even see me. Like, he was catcalling me based on my voice. But like, I don't know, I think it's kind of a known thing now that a lot of catcalls are just like baseless claims. But but there was a time in my life before I knew that. I was a very, very late bloomer. Like, I finished puberty in college. And I didn't really get hit on a lot growing up, which is a good problem to have, but like, I kind of had this weird perception of myself in terms of myself being a sexual being. So I remember the first time I got catcalled, I didn't really understand that it was a baseless claim. So like verbatim, the first time I got catcalled, I was in Boston. And this woman goes, ooh girl, you have the booty of a goddess. And I was like, me? So fucked up. I guess I don't know, this little kid appeal is working now that I have like bangs and little pigtails and all that. Whatchamacallit, working so well that people just want to make hits on kids, aka me. Which is why I hooked up with a school shooter one time. Before you judge, I'll have you know, I was taking one for the team. A pussy a day keeps the school shooters at bay. But I'll walk you guys through how it all started. Back before I deleted Tinder, this mysterious fella messaged me and said, greetings, traveler. From the incel video game World of Warcraft. Now, I didn't know that this was a line from World of Warcraft. I thought he was just being silly. Besides, when you're horny enough, greetings, traveler translates to, because I'm 6'4", so apparently that matters on here. So anyway, we meet up, and he tells me that not only does he have a fascination with machine guns, but when he was in high school, he was if there were to be a school shooter, it would be him kid. So yeah, I let him hit. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. It was hot. It was great. It put me in the mood. He turned off the lights, locked the door, and taped a single piece of paper to the window. To turn me on, he whispered in my ear, go to the bathroom. And I was like, oh shit! He's about to shoot and I don't even have a bulletproof backpack! And when he came, he shouted like his entire hit list. Oh my god. So good. He was mentally ill gun owner to my lack of gun legislation. I was so sore I was doing the march to my life the day after. But yeah. I'm Stephanie. Thank you.
Guys, come on, one more time. Guys, how are you feeling? How are you guys doing? Absolutely amazing. That's cool. All right. You guys ready for the next comic? We're coming up close to the end of the show, so I want some energy. You gotta get loud, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you for, that. All right, guys, your next comic, something a little different. Please welcome to the stage, Jonanthan Mong.
Hey, money.
So I wonder what would happen if I just didn't play this the entire time. So for those of you who don't know me, which is probably most of you, my name is Jonanthan Mong, And I'm a music major with the ukulele, which is kind of like coming to Cornell and being a hotelie. And my friends give me a lot of music recommendations to songs that I've never heard of before, which is a really bad thing because I'm getting a degree in this, and they're getting a job when they graduate. But I've noticed most of the songs that they send me kind of sound like this. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. Heat waves keep freaking me out. Can make you happy or not. So to remedy not having a job after I graduate, I think I'm just gonna do my best imitation of a teenage girl discovering that she has a ukulele and the ability to make a YouTube account. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio? Stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. So yeah, that's one song that does that. They've probably also done this song on their account. It kind of goes like this. And so I put my hands up to play my song. I feel a blackout coming on. Not in my head yeah. Moving my hips yeah. I put my hands up to playing my song. I'm hooking up with this dumb blonde. Yeah. We're all catching Omicron. Yeah. We're all catching Omicron. Disney's done a bunch of these songs, which actually I should have expected because they've never done anything original in their life. Let's see. One of them goes kind of like this. Me and your mother, we made your brother under the sheets. I'm sorry. So you might be wondering, Jonathan, why are you bringing a ukulele on stage to a stand-up comedy set? And that's because, well, I was never good at telling jokes, but the punchline goes, I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age. Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. I'll be waiting. All you have to do is call 1-877-CARS for kids. KARS, cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids, and pray the gay away. Shit. Sorry, I just came from cutting a Fox News commercial. For those of you who don't know, that is Cars with 3 Ks. Donate your car today. But I think I'm running low on time, so I should just stop fingering the G string and just send you off with a reminder that once again somebody set fire to a campus building. North Campus is on fire for the 15th time in the fucking semester. North Campus is on fire. No, we didn't light it. Well, now that I think about it, we kind of did light it. I didn't realize when I came here that when I told my parents, hey, I'm in hell, I didn't expect to actually be worried about burning in hell. That's my time, good night! Just out of curiosity, is the arsonist here? You in the back. Thank you. Making my emails really exciting. That's great. Just thought I'd take a shot. All right, a few more comics left. Coming up to the stage, also doing his first show with our club. Very excited to welcome to the stage. Please put your hands together for Minki Kim.
Hello, everyone. See a lot of white faces in this crowd. Just so you're all aware, I am a different Asian. Anyways, a lot of unoriginal comics ask, how's everyone doing tonight, to start off their sets. I won't say that. Not because I don't care how you're doing, although I don't. It's because most of you guys go to Cornell. Things are definitely going bad. Anyways, I actually didn't go to Cornell for a while. I studied abroad last semester. And I mostly stayed in London, but I did go visit Oxford once. Man, I hated it. It was so cold, there was nothing to do, and everyone I met was an elitist prick. Worst part? Already had that at Cornell. Nah, London's great though. Went to a bunch of British museums, and man, the British have everything. I was looking at these museums and I was wondering, how did they get all this stuff? Quickly discovered colonialism. You know what? It's all good. Thought of a great argument for why the British should be able to keep all these cultural relics. It's because their whole culture is stealing other cultures. You know, like I said, London's great. You guys want to hear the British accent I picked up? Alright, let me do this impression. I hate the poor. And the blacks. Although, you might wonder, is London more racist than anywhere else? And can't say it, but I will tell you a story. One night, after I'd done a show, this guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey, you stole those jokes. I was here last month, and an Indian guy was saying those same exact jokes." I looked at him and I said, "Bitch, I don't know what you're talking about, because that Indian guy was me." Anyways, I'll be going into business after I graduate, but if that doesn't work out, got comedy as a backup. But you know, I do have some regrets. Right now, I wish I'd become a dentist. What other job pays you to hurt children? Some of you may have already guessed, but I do not want to be a parent. For many obvious reasons. One of them is that all kids ask for a dog. Yes, we'll feed it and take care of it and do all the work. They will do none of that. But you know what? It's all good. Thought of a nice, ethical way to make sure a dog is never too much of a burden. See, the second my kids slip up, I kill that dog. No, I'm messing around. But you know, I have been reflecting on myself and what I was like in high school, because you know, only 4 years ago. And when I was 17, I might have killed a dog to get into Stanford. Her too, it seems. Sorry. Might have killed the dog to get into Stanford. A person for Harvard. Only an oyster for Cornell. I'm kidding. Cornell's great though. I had this one professor who was paid to teach us statistics, but instead, he gave us life advice. He had this one story about a PhD student. And this PhD student was trying to get approval for funding, but his faculty advisor was just so busy and also didn't give a shit. Pretty typical. Anyways, the student is just waiting and waiting, and no one's giving him any attention. And he's getting more and more stressed until one day, he snaps, goes to his faculty advisor, and kills him. My professor's life lesson there was, that's why you should check your email every day. Good advice. Just don't ask me what a fucking Z-score is. Also, I am a TA for data science. Well, give me a cheer if Cornell has made you suffer. That's what I thought. No worries, I've already planned out my revenge. See, Cornell admin is full of greedy folks. And I know the second I graduate, they're going to send donation requests. You guys too.
10K a year.
I've already asked him. No. And I know exactly what I'll do when I get that email. I'm gonna write them back. Dearest Martha Pollock. Fuck you, you're not getting any money from me. I make 70K a year for a white boomer to tell me to check my email. I wish I didn't follow that advice, maybe I could have avoided this stupid ass request for money. Fuck you for giving us 2 midterms, I call it the prelims, and for not hooking me up with that IBM internship, even though you're on the board. You better pray your house is egg proof. One regards. Minki Kim. P.S. Instead of changing your hair, change the school. We see those lockdown TikTok bangs. Except for my Android. You know, there is this conception about Cornell though. All work, no time for play, let alone dating. And that's just not true. Most of what I've learned about women has been from Cornell. Broke up with my high school girlfriend in my sophomore year. And I learned the difference between how girls and guys break up. My ex spoke for 4 straight hours on why things weren't working and why we weren't good for each other. Took me 6 words. I don't like this anymore. Goodbye. People always shit on exes though. I was at this bar recently and they had these napkins that said, "Drinks colder than your ex's heart." I read that and thought, wow, that's pretty messed up. How am I supposed to drink this frozen beer? Alright, I'm gonna lead into this next bit by saying, in a lot of ways, it sucks to be a woman, and marriage is a very strange concept. Now, that being said, one benefit to being a woman is that if you propose, it can be shitty. Everyone around will still be like, oh my god, so brave. It could be at a Chili's happy hour and just put the ring in a 30-cent margarita. Oh my god, she's a hero. Speaking of heroes, big fan of the Marvel and DC franchises. But you know, sometimes their characters don't make sense. Like, I love Wonder Woman, but her lasso of truth never felt necessary. Like, if that's just a lie detector, you can also hang yourself with it. Alright, here's the thing. The reason why this power doesn't feel very special is, you know who else has that power? Every woman I've ever dated. Babe, please, believe me, I wasn't checking her out. You lying son of a bitch. How could you? That was my mom. Like, if I ever became a supervillain, you would not need Wonder Woman to figure out what I was up to. Just bring in Grace Lee. Yes, that is a real name, but good luck narrowing it down. If I were to be a supervillain, the worst thing I could realistically do is be a school shooter. Good night, everyone. Get home safe. I'm kidding. Not gonna be a school shooter either. You know, I don't really fit that demographic. I'll say more. You know, not racist, not white, not a virgin. Also, definitely not cut out for that blue-collar crime. I would definitely crack under any kind of pressure. Officer, please, don't shoot. The only bad things I've ever done are throw a bunch of eggs at Martha Pollock's house and steal jokes from this Indian guy while I was abroad. Alright, that's all for me. Thanks so much.
Two comics left. You ready to finish this fucking show? You ready to get going? I need energy. These last 2 comics, I need a lot of energy. This next comedian, she's also from Ithaca College, incredibly hilarious. Put your hands together for Kaitlyn Coffey.
How are we?
Not great.
I didn't. Relax. So my mom called me recently, and she's a 60-year-old white woman, and she was like, "Katie." Wait, fuck, I messed up the joke. That's what she said to me. No. She's like, so my parents went to Puerto Rico recently, and they were very excited, and I speak a little bit of Spanish, so they had a lot of questions, and they were like, she called me, she was like, "Katie, what's the word in Spanish for beer? Because we're gonna be using that one a lot." I was like, "Shit, Mom, I don't know.
my mom's an alcoholic, but worse than that, she didn't let me watch Disney Channel. I did not have cable as a kid, this is true, and people lose their fucking minds when you tell them that you didn't have cable as a kid. I could be like, yeah, I didn't get to watch SpongeBob because I was like living underground with the mole people. And motherfuckers will go, you haven't seen the episode where Mr. Krabs has his birthday? You haven't seen the episode where they go to the mall? There were other things going on. Worst shit my mom did. I love my mom. This feels bad, but worst shit my mom did was I did not see the ending 30 minutes of The Lion King until I was 15 years old. I'm dumb and I go to Ithaca, so this is 15. Because she thought the ending was too violent. So for 15 years, my mother would take the tape out at Hakuna Matata. And the lesson that taught me was if someone kills my dad, I should just fuck off to the woods. And stay there. No wonder I'm so avoidant now. No, but I didn't find out the ending of The Lion King until I was 15 years old when I was at my friend's house on a Saturday night, and she said, do you want to watch The Lion King? Because I was really cool in high school. So she put in The Lion King, and Hakuna Matata came on, and then the movie kept going. That was such a mind fuck. Like, imagine watching a movie you've seen a million times, and it gets to the part that you think is the end, and then it keeps going. Imagine watching Back to the Future, and there's that great shot of the DeLorean on the street, and Doc's like, where do you want to take this thing, Marty? And Marty's like, turn this bitch around. I changed my mind, I do want to fuck my mom. And it's funny too, because my mom is like, I brought this up to my mother recently, and I was like, Mom, you never let me watch the ending of The Lion King, that was fucked up. And she's like, well, it was so violent. That's how she talks. And I was like, Mom, if you were worried about violence, why'd you raise me Catholic? Anyway, I had a really sheltered childhood. I grew up in a very rural area, but I got exposed to social justice through the internet. And here's the thing about that. Your view of things is very limited. So my friends would be like, defund the police! And I'd be like, yeah! And I'd be like, wait a minute. Who's gonna get the cows? And my friends would be like, Black Lives Matter! And I'd be like, yeah! And then I would remember that I didn't know any black people. My high school was very white. We had one kid who wasn't white the entire school. He was a friend of mine, this kid Mason. And he was really fucking tall too. So miraculously, Mason would always end up at the front of all the class photos. And he was really tall too, so it was like, we got one black kid, and fuck all the kids that are shorter than him. My high school was so ashamed of being white. This is true. They painted a Martin Luther King Jr. mural in the front foyer. And it's like, you look at the population of the school, and I'm like, I don't think this was his dream. I don't think his dream was like little white girls and little white boys and Mason. Mason wasn't even black, he was Sicilian. I grew up sheltered. That's funny that my boob is out. I'm saying that. I grew up really sheltered. I never got catcalled and shit, and probably because my town had one road. But when I first found out what catcalling is, I was I thought it was when a boy complimented you and he was just kind of loud about it, and I was like, fuck, wish Josh from Bio would catcall me. No, the first time I got like harassed on the street, it was in College Town. So, maybe he's in this room. I was getting off a bus and this man followed me for 3 blocks, which is bad, but I must look really good. My ass must look fat. The best like street harassment scenario I've ever been in, which is a fucked up sentence. I was walking back from a party with a friend, and this young gentleman came up to me and said, "Yo, your tits are crazy." This motherfucker did not say crazy, he said crazy. Number one, if you think this is crazy, that girl Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria, holy shit. I'm straight. Second of all, I like the implication that crazy has, right? Because it's not like, oh, your tits are lovely, like A+. It's like, no, your tits are like clinically insane. Your titties on Zoloft. Your titties got Munchausen's. Your titties killed a kid in Missouri. Titties. But there's like crazy has a lot of connotations. Because he could have meant, benefit of the doubt, he could have meant crazy with a K. Like, that crazy bread from Little Caesars. Like, it's not that fucking crazy, is it? It's just bread and cheese. But he's like, damn, shorty. Damn, shorty, your titties full of Asiago. Craziest thing of all, we've been together 6 months. The wedding is in April.
Call centers, senators who are also boxers? Ace Hardware, good answer. So if you said any of those things, I'd say that you're on the right track, or at least you're still on a track, you're still at the train station, so to speak. So I used to go to UMass Amherst, and my parents told me, Carlos, when you're in a place like that in the middle of nowhere, you're gonna meet the people there, they might be different. And I said, I'm a person, there are people, how different can it be? I thought I was gonna experience the real America, and oh boy. So right away I got asked a lot of weird questions, oh wow, you guys have internet over there? You speak such good English. And at first I tried to explain the concept of trade and globalism and the emerging markets of the 21st century, but then eventually I was like, I'm just gonna start fucking with them. So for example, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, we actually don't have the internet, we communicate with smoke signals. And thanks for the compliment on my English. I learned it all from a tourist phrase book. And I just keep saying stuff like that, and they only stopped believing me when I said that in order to study in the US, I had to engage in Black Panther-style ritual combat with my subjects. So, what does it mean to be from the Philippines? So, I asked one of my housemates where she thought I was from, and she said, give me a second, when she saw somebody who has a Spanish first name, British second first name, Spanish middle name, Chinese last name, speaks perfect English, it's like, okay, he's definitely from the Philippines. I like to see like a melting pot, if the chef who is cooking the pot kind of had like a gun or a cutlass or a cannon to their head at all times, because can I get an amen for colonialism? Amen? Amen. Amen. Alright, so one thing you should know about us is we love our international recognition. And you guys remember a movie called The Bourne Legacy? It was a pretty pretty mediocre action movie. But when we heard that part of it would be taking place in Manila, wow, we went fucking wild. We went wild to see an American action hero beating up our cops, blowing up our buildings. And then, even now, we still cling on to like, so-and-so character who plays comic relief is like 1/4 Filipino. Let's fucking go! So people say a lot of stuff about Filipinas, and a lot of it's good. But I mean, there's one thing that I'm kind of tired of hearing. It's Filipinos are hospitable, because the people who I hear saying this are like tourists who are like, oh yeah, they fixed my bed so well, they served me at the restaurant so well. I think we're in need of a new national identity, and so I want to propose tonight that Filipinos are warriors. And I'm not talking about like the CNN kind of like, oh, this quadruple amputee works 100-hour weeks to support their family of four, so inspiring kind of warrior. No, not that. No, I'm saying that we're a kind of people who will always protect the innocent, intentionally or otherwise. Now, of course, I'm not saying that Filipinos are only capable of violence. Last thing I want to say, there are Filipino like doctors, scientists, artists out there changing the world. I'm just saying that if there was a purge night, I'd skip over like a 6'5" bodybuilder for like a 5'4" Filipino in basketball shorts and slippers named like Dizon or Jepoy or something. So, I mean, we didn't know who Ferdinand Magellan was. We didn't know what he wanted to do to us, what he thought of us. We just thought he looked like a bitch. We gave him a bitch's that spear right through the chest. I mean, I remember I read a book as a kid that said he was killed by Pacific Islanders, and I was like, come on, give us some credit. Give us some credit. What credit's due. So whenever I want to tell people the truth about what the Philippines is like, there are a couple stories I like to tell them. The first one, you guys remember like in 2016, there were like the clowns running around with the knives and the makeup? Yeah, so like some guy tried that in the Philippines, and according to the news report, 3 kids who were huffing glue on the street saw him, walked towards him, and put him in the hospital, stealing his wallet, phone, and GoPro. Just like national heroes. Another story I like to tell. There's this event that was going around. When I was in high school called Suntukan sa Ace Hardware. And for those of you who aren't aware, Suntukan roughly translates into fist fight. So basically, the gist of this event was that on a certain date at a certain random hardware store location, thousands of people were just going to show up and just start fighting for no reason. And like thousands of people were joining. People were saying stuff on the group like, oh yeah, I'm going to miss my child's birth, or I'm going to miss my brother's wedding, but I absolutely have to be at this event. And eventually, the company had to issue an official statement like, no, please don't do this. But they ended up setting up like a small boxing ring like right outside the store and so take pictures. Yeah, I was really glad to learn that you guys do something similar over here on Black Friday. So as you can tell, like our sense of humor is pretty unique. I see it as like a product of the environment. Like over here, you got all kinds of technology and cash, and you just got frustrated when it's not deployed everywhere just because of stuff like politics and red tape. And meanwhile, in the Philippines, usually it's only this tape that's holding everything together. Like mosquitoes are a national bird. You gotta check both ways for motorcycles when you open the car door. There's a national hero level senator whose name is Joker Arroyo, not Joker. Yeah, no, it's a great place. I suggest you guys in the audience visit sometime, and make sure you bring lots and lots of money and spend all of it. Yeah. So I've done this bit before in the past, but election time's coming up in the Philippines, and I'm a big advocate of getting all of your political worldviews from comedians. So here goes. So some of you guys might have heard a bit about our president from the news, Duterte, and if not, I'll just give you like a little greatest hits compilation. So. He saw a tourist smoking a cigarette in a prohibited area, and he made him swallow it. He called the Pope a son of a whore. Not over religious reasons, mind you. It's because he's causing traffic in the city. Just what I thought you wanted to do, right? And this one's my personal favorite. He said, while people here were trying to get their hands on ivermectin to treat COVID, he said, if you don't get the vaccine, I will have the ivermectin for the pigs injected into you. I love that one because it's like ivermectin derogatory and ivermectin affectionate. Now, before you go around calling him based, though, just be aware that he's responsible for the deaths of thousands of people who are suspected of drug crimes. Because, I mean, I like to say, in the Philippines, we plant bananas, coconuts, and evidence. So, how can it get even worse from here, you might ask? So, we have a really famous world record. I don't think it's one to be proud of at all. It's most money stolen from a government by a sitting president. Honor goes to President Ferdinand Marcos, $10 billion. I mean, personally, I don't think that that's what the Guinness World Records should be for. I think it's for stuff like fastest speeds achieved on a golf cart, or like most body piercings without dying of blood loss, or like stuff that entertains kids at like elementary school libraries. But I mean, well, go off, I guess. I mean, he also tortured a lot of political dissidents, and he forced a lot of natives off their land. But I mean, hey, he's gonna have to try a lot harder for the world record on that one. Am I right? So what's he up to now? Well, he's dead. But a lot of people don't know about his extracurricular activities, and his son, who hasn't learned a thing, is actually currently leading in the polls right now. His name's also Bong Marcos. Like I said, we don't fuck around with our politician names. I think Elon Musk his son has a great future in Filipino politics. So I know it's a long shot, but if I can convince at least one person in this audience tonight to commit international voter fraud, then my job here is done. So I want to end by telling you guys a story about something that happened in my high school. So I had this teacher, this hard-partying white guy, serious case of yellow fever, if you know what I mean. He marries a Filipina, they have kids, and he's like posting pictures of his kid all the time on Facebook. He's like, wow, my baby looks so Filipino. And it turns out that's because the baby is Filipino. Like full Filipino. Because she cheated on him with some other guy, and he'd been raising this guy's kid the whole time. And, you know, I just want to award the three of them, like the mom, the father, and the baby. I just want to award them all national hero status, because I think it's only through these kinds of decolonization efforts that we can really start to heal as a country. So we're gonna break that, guys.
Comics. Yo, get the fuck in here. Yo, all you fucking comics, let's go. Stop. Let's go.
Bro.
All right. Just real quick, Perry Thaler on our e-board speaker since the beginning of the call. Perry, where you at? Perry, right there. Give it over Perry, guys. Joseph Tozen. Joseph, also super huge help, also on our e-board. Give it over Perry. Matt Hein, he's also on our e-board. Give it up for this guy. Give it up for Ithaca College. Ithaca College for helping us out with this. And just fucking give it up for yourselves, guys. We could not do this without you guys, so thank you. So, we're gonna have another show hopefully next month to round out the year. A lot of graduating seniors. It'll be a mix of like graduating seniors and a lot of new people trying out stuff. So, it should be a great show. We appreciate the shit out of you guys for coming here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back around. We're pun intended, and we'll see you guys. What? Follow us on Instagram at pun intended Cornell. Follow all the comics individually too. We all follow the account. You can look up our names and you can see our names in the post. That is our show. Good night, guys.